But we're delighted to say that the Director General of UNESCO, no less, Irina Bokova, is here and ready to make the opening address for Day 4, the Action Day. I don't need to remind you that Irina Bokova is also the Secretary General of the UN, Ban Ki-moon's head of the newly set up panel on science for Rio +20. So, I'm honored to introduce you to Mrs. Bokova. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nisha. I think that my speech was partly written on the screens. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable ministers, ambassadors, dear Professor Lee, President of the International Council for Science, distinguished directors of the 4 global environmental programs and co-organizers of this conference. For me, as the Director General of UNESCO, it is a big honor to address this conference on its 4th day. Planet Under Pressure is one of our important conferences this year before we prepare for Rio +20. Because, as you know, the genesis of UNESCO took place in London's Great Hall of Civil Engineers on the 16th of November 1945. The first UNESCO Director General was the leading scientist, Julian Huxley, who lobbied successfully to add the S, as we say, for scientific cooperation to our mandate. Our first Assistant Director General for Science was Joseph Needham, known for his work on the history of science and technology in China. Needham charted a course for capacity building in science worldwide that still guides UNESCO today. Building on the work of these outstanding leaders, science has taken a central part in UNESCO's work to build on international scientific cooperation for lasting peace and sustainable development. This concerns both the natural and the social sciences, bringing these together in a unique feature of our work. Our position, ladies and gentlemen, is clear. Science holds answers to key questions we must address today. Questions about sustainable and inclusive development, about the resilience of our societies. UNESCO's role is to support states in building the knowledge societies we need for the century ahead. Science and engineering must be at the core of all efforts for sustainable development. This point is made powerfully in the report of the United Nations Secretary-General's High-Level Panel on Global Sustainability, Resilient People, Resilient Planet. This commitment is embodied by UNESCO's work to catalyze international scientific cooperation, witnessed, for instance, in the creation of the European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, and the International Center for Synchrotron Light for Experimental Science and Applications in the Middle East, the SESAME project. It is taken forward by the intergovernmental programs UNESCO coordinates, the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission, the International Hydrological Program, our International Geoscience Program, our Program on Man and Biosphere, our International Basic Sciences Program, and the Management of Social Transformation Program, many of which have recently celebrated their 40th and 50th anniversaries. Through all of this, we bring the international scientific community together around problems states cannot tackle alone. We bridge the scientific and policy worlds for action at the national, regional, and global levels. This experience has never been as important as it is today. The planet is indeed under pressure. We are testing the capacity of the planet to sustain us at a time of global economic crisis, enduring poverty, and rising natural disasters, at a time when challenges are complex and interconnected, and in many respects, as yet unknown. The High-Level Panel on Global Sustainability put it succinctly. And I quote, "The signposts are clear. We need to change dramatically, beginning with how we think about our relationship to each other, to future generations, and to the ecosystems that support us. Change must occur. Change will not be easy, we know that, but it carries extraordinary opportunities and responsibilities to promote a sustainable planet, more just and green societies, and growing green economies." The theme that drives our discussion today is a vision for 2050 and beyond, exploring new partnerships and pathways towards global sustainability. Our vision is clear, but we must do more to defend it. Social equity, environmental protection, and sustainable green economic development are a single agenda. They are not options to be weighed against each other. Together, they provide the foundations for sustainable development, for inclusive and healthy societies, for human dignity and gender equality, all of which are at the heart of a new humanism. Science is essential to achieving this vision, and this includes also a new Oceans Compact, which the United Nations Secretary-General is elaborating with the Chief Executive Board. We need new linkages between science and policy, linkages that are effective and results-yielding. We need a more integrated scientific research agenda to better understand the world, to identify the boundaries and tipping points of the planet and of human development. We need tighter links between the scientific and engineering research communities. While the scientific community provides us with an understanding of what is happening with our interlinked Earth systems, the engineering community works on concrete actions to address the challenges we face. And above all, we need systems thinking to connect the dots on a picture that is moving quickly, to widen the choices for societies facing uncertainties. We need the support of science to help mediate the making of choices, to highlight options for better policies, for inclusive social development, for social inclusion. This requires stronger links between science and society. This is the social goal of UNESCO's work to bring the voices of people into policy-making processes related to science. Many of our programs are designed so that all members of society, including women, indigenous people, youth and the marginalized, are involved in defining research priorities and programs and their implementation. Our goal must be to harness the power of science to empower people. This requires also new partnerships with the private sector. Industry and the business community are key factors because of the responsibility they carry for development, because of the innovation they bring to growth. Overall, we need wide platforms that link policy, science, society and business in order to better integrate human well-being, economic processes and ecosystems. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the stakes of the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development that will be held in Rio. Our conference this week is an opportunity to clarify the vision we want Rio+20 to take forward. The high-level panel on global sustainability has called for, and I quote, a major global scientific initiative to strengthen the interface between policy and science. We have strong platforms today to foster international collaboration in science, including, first and foremost, the 4 global environmental programs. How can global efforts be strengthened to harness the full power of science for the sustainable development of all societies and the planet? We need a new vision of science for sustainable development, and I wish to thank the United Nations Secretary-General for his leadership here. I believe the contributions of this conference will be important in thinking about how to craft a new international collaborative agenda, about how to create new models for the international scientific community to work together more effectively. The Future Earth Initiative is a premier example of the international scientific community bringing together existing initiatives as well as the funders of research worldwide through the Belmont Forum in ways that are unprecedented in creativity and potential. I would like to reassure you that UNESCO will continue to offer its full support to the Future Earth Initiative, working with our partners in the developing world to enhance also their participation. No one disputes, ladies and gentlemen, the difficulty of the challenges we face. As we tackle them, let us recall the tremendous needs that exist to build more equitable, green societies and more balanced development. And time is of essence. We must seize every opportunity that exists, and we must make the most of every point of leverage to create new ones. Ancient wisdom may provide once again inspiration here. And I wish to close by recalling a famous thought of Archimedes of Syracuse on the importance of leverage. "Give me a place to stand," he said, "and I will move the earth." The same is true in the sphere of politics. This conference is an opportunity to take a firm stand for science as a lever for sustainable development. Rio+20 will be the next major opportunity to take a stand, to move the earth and humanity along with it. And I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Bokova. I love that phrase of yours, how to harness the power of science to better serve society. And I think I'm going to steal that phrase, and you keep hearing it during the course of today. How do you harness the power of science?